I'm at my secret nature spots. So, get myself together. Just gonna let you guys hang out with me for a little bit. I will do live oracle consultations. I just finished doing I call it my Oshun grid. I've been doing this for years. But this time I just have some yoni eggs, some offerings to the wildlife, some family heirlooms, and my magnets. A little incense for the opening. And I'm gonna mosey on over here and reconstruct my fallen fireplace. So, it's been a minute. I haven't really gone live here. I've gone live here, but not in a way where I'm just gonna take you guys through my journey. I would say about 8 years ago, I would do this like regularly, a few times a week. I would go live, do consultations, kind of talk, kind of rant. A lot of things have changed. I've really expanded in my brand. I've become a som, gotten a little bigger. I love my breasts, absolutely. But yeah, I'm just getting back to my witchy ways. I'm just getting back to really teaching elements of witchcraft, how to use it in your daily life, in your practical life for spirituality. But just, living the life of a blood-born witch and honoring the traits within our bloodline. So I'm gonna start reconstructing, build the fire, and I'll let you guys watch that for a little bit, and then I'll come back over here. You guys see me doing that. And then I'll come back over here and I'll start some oracle consultations. Hopefully I can keep my phone cool as I'm doing some of this. Keep my phone on. Nice. That works. Looks like the storm knocked down some of the stones. I got it up more. I do have to find one stone to fill in this gap, like right there. There's a little gap, so I'm gonna see if I can find a small stone real quick. Alright, I got these bad boys, so I'm gonna go ahead and plug the gap with these. And then I'll take you guys to the fireplace. A little taller, thank you. Alright, friends. Here it is. This is my seat right here. So I'm gonna pop a squat on my trusty rock. And this is a fireplace that, believe it or not, another person, because there are some other witches and some warlocks or men of nature, men who fish and harpoon. We've been coming to it. It's like a little witch's cove. I've been coming for about a decade, give or take, but others have been coming. And so someone did start the base of this fireplace, and I just kind of built upon it. And then I did kind of create a sacred space guardianship, create a sacred space guardianship there. Let me know if you guys can hear me. I know it's Saturday, and you people are probably out and about instead of online scrolling on a sunny day, especially if you are in a warm weather climate right now in a city where it's only warm like 2 months out of the year. But this is what I have to work with. I did bring the cedar block there. I'm just going to, and then I do have some like fireplace sticks that I have. These I use to tend to the fire and the smoke. But I'm just going to go ahead and set up my charcoal and get some of those fun things taken care of. You guys can ask questions. I don't think anyone's really watching right now, but feel free to ask questions. I got a little roly-poly in my slippers. Yeah, it's there. I'll leave it there. Some interesting insects. Look at these guys. A lot of bugs. Interesting bugs come up from under rocks. This is a live one. But yeah, I'm really just getting back to my nature girl, my city witch vibes, and just kind of back to who I am, and not so much trying to teach or elevate people of my race or women to you know, another level, but really just kind of demonstrating what it means to be a witch. And gotta keep the girls up, you know, just demonstrating what it means to be a witch, how our life is different, instead of talking about it all the time. Maybe I'm secretly practicing to go on Alone. And since now that the Alone, the survival show that is on the History Channel, I love that show. And I would love to meet a lot of the Alone participants and survivors one day. Definitely be part of that community. That's where I feel like I belong. Because I know what it's like to be alone and live a life alone. Because you're different. And you know, when I think it's kind of a goal of mine. I would like to do that. I've always, ever since I was a child, I would like pick berries and vegetation and foliage and stuff, and make like what I call rabbit salad. I would call it rabbit food, and I would actually play homeless. And I lived in the suburbs, even though I grew up in the suburbs, and I lived in the suburbs as a child. Even though my family was from the projects, and my dad still stayed in the inner city. So, despite coming from the projects where I grew up, there was a lot of nature. And my grandparents taught me a lot when we would go to Michigan growing up. They taught me a lot, how to drive a car, how to drive a stick shift, how to drive a clutch, how to forage, you know, make tea out of strawberry leaves, mint leaves, different stuff, how to swim. I learned a lot of things that a lot of black people at my time from my city were estranged from because of segregation. So I just want to kind of get back to honoring the fact that I am used to being the only black person of my kind, the only one of my kind, and just kind of demonstrating what type of person you can be. You know, when you don't take white supremacy and black oppression to heart so much, but you overcome it. You overcome it by having access to the same privileges that white people have access to. You overcome it by taking pride in the burdens that black people are cursed by our God to bear. So, without further ado, I'm gonna set my coal up, and then I have like my burnt offerings that I bring, which it could be old energies, you know, hair that has shedded or hair that I shaved off, that I want to honor and respect the releasing of those energies. It could be compost food, dried things, or just things that, you know, can be used as incense and a nice offering to the ancestors and the Most High. So, you know, I have my burnt offerings here. Dead flowers, like I said, compost food, dried herbs and spices, hair that has shed or been shaved, fun stuff like that. As the main principle of witchcraft is actually recycling, and I talk a lot about that. It's you know, it's working with nature, and it's recycling and keeping things in a circular motion. So there's a lot of circulation in witchcraft, and probably should have brought a lot more coals than I did. So using something to its absolute fullest and giving it back to the source, which is the earth or the Most High, if you're dealing with something that is not physical. So it can be used again, not just for the sustainability of yourself in survival, like in Alone, or the sustainability of a community in a tribe, but the sustainability of the universe and the karma of the cycle, making sure things come back to you, making sure that what you put out comes back to you, and knowing when you're putting something out good, that it's that the very act of doing something good and something aligned with the Holy Spirit and aligned with nature, the very act of doing that will bring you blessings. Good luck is another way to say it, but good luck is actually more new age and fortune telling. And we want to stay away from fortune telling and get into this clean spirituality that does not control or seek to take away or alter someone's destiny, but to enhance who they are, you know, through wisdom. So, of course, I probably should have brought the rest of the coals that I actually had. I would like to have a few more to fill it up, but I never really fill up the whole place. I just kind of, just going to set the coals around in a nice little way. Just kind of arrange them and let them burn for a little bit, and then I'm gonna go rinse off in the water, test the water, honor Yemaya and Oshun, the spirits of the river and water and sacred femininity. But, you know, definitely honoring Yemaya and Oshun, even though this is a freshwater body of water. Gonna honor the source of water, which is Yemaya, and the water that sustains us, which is Oshun. So again, I could have used a couple more coals here, but such is life. I'll just kind of triangulate that a little bit, make it more angle there, and I'm gonna go ahead and light this bad boy on fire. Oh, look at, I found another coal so I can rearrange it just like I intended to. Perfect. All works out. It's a really nice Saturday. It's a nice Sabbath to be out here with you guys. But that's my witch's cove. The city. My life. It's wonderful. So again, I got it. I put that last coal there, so it's a lot more square, and I'm just gonna my lighter fluid and then light this bad boy up, let it burn up, and then I can start making my burnt offerings. And remember, one main component in Vodun, a fetish priest, meaning of a fetish priest is someone who works directly with the Eshu, and who works directly with the gate opening initiation. So a fetish priest told me, and kind of, oh my gosh, you guys see this dragonfly? Oh, it was so big, it was like hovering over my head. It was coming close. There's the dragonflies are here. You know what that means? They're gonna eat all the bugs, all the flies. So actually, the fetish priest T, if you happen to be watching this, that's the King Odonato. He is a dragonfly spirit, so he must have heard me speaking, and so at least we know the gate is open. But what I was trying to say was, when you as a lady are, when you as a woman are on your menstrual, you do not want to make any offerings to any male orisha, any male or masculine orisha. You don't want to make offerings to. You want to specifically deal with the females, particularly the iyami, or the mothers. Oya deals with blood. She is a great orisha to work with when you are clearing out energies, unwanted things, when you are releasing negative emotions during your menstrual. That kind of lashing out. Oya is great for creating justice. Yemaya is great for womb health and taking care of your womb, your ovaries as a woman, your birth canal, honoring honoring the water within blood. That's going to be Yemaya's element during your menstrual. Honoring the womb and nurturing your own womb during your period, because the womb is always meant to nurture everything else. And that is African principle. That's why women rule the marketplace. That will be under Oya, ruling the marketplace. That's business, commerce. Oya deals with that. She is an air spirit, so she deals with business, commerce. But the act of women ruling the marketplace in African heritage, that's matriarchal, and that is that would be under Yemaya. The functional matriarchy is under Yemaya. Peace, blessed queen. You didn't miss much. I just set up my fireplace, and I'm gonna light it up. I can do that right now as I'm speaking carefully. I'll do it a little more carefully. But I'm just going to light this up as I continue to speak about sacred femininity, and just kind of reminding, I'm going to have to do it with my instance. I'm just reminding women what fetish priest taught me, which is to not offer to male orisha or masculine orisha that deal with warlock energy or sacred masculinity. You don't offer to those orisha, and you do not invoke those orisha when you are a female on your menstrual cycle. So Oya rules the marketplace. She deals with ruling the marketplace. She creates justice for women during your menstrual. Yemaya deals with the blood with the water within the blood and the blood of the womb. But again, women ruling the marketplace, that comes from the fact that a woman through our womb is meant and designed to nurture everyone, while the man in his masculine energy is geared towards selfishness. He is designed in a way that creates selfishness in the man, because of the testosterone needed to be aggressive and to hunt and to dominate. So those masculine qualities are sacred and they're divine, but they are not conducive to making sure everyone is taken care of and fed, as opposed to making sure that he is taken care of and fed. It's a lot deeper than that. I don't want to simplify the man or the woman into a nurturer and the man into a protector and a provider, but the womb, the nature of the womb, is meant to nurture and to hold on things. The man is meant to give away. His sperm is designed to be ejected from his body and given away to the woman, so she can nurture it in a way that he's not designed to. That's that milk. So when you give the woman the power, When you don't keep it for yourself as a man, but you give that power, the power that you were endowed with, when you give a woman authority, when you give her children, when you give her the responsibility of nurturing, how that translates in a community is giving the woman, not just giving her sperm, your sperm, but you are giving the woman your authority to rule. So when women rule the marketplace in African spirituality, it is demonstrating that African men always had the superior masculinity to understand that he is giving the woman the authority to rule because God granted it to him, and he understands his nature is limited and he is meant to be with the female. So he gives her authority to rule the nations. In the lion kingdom, not every feline, not every wild feline, but specifically in the lions of Africa, the man does very little, but he is very powerful. We don't call the female lion the queen of the jungle. We call the lion the king of the jungle. But we understand in the lion culture, the woman does the hunting. The woman does a lot of the protecting, and in a lot of circumstances, the women come together to fight off a greater enemy when the man may not be around. I've seen it on National Geographics where the women come together to fight off another lion, because the man wasn't around to protect his cubs, and then the male lion came and then did his job. So the male can be very useless. He can be very useless outside of his God-given authority. Once he gives it to the woman, she can do so much with it. And we see the glory of the man, his glory as a man created directly in the image of God. That mane of the male lion is actually what prevents him from being a skilled hunter or as skilled as the lionesses. So the black man was the one who always had the superior masculinity to understand it was his duty to give the woman authority. In other words, the African man understood that it was his duty to elevate and empower the woman that God gave him in order to remain in power as a man. So let's, another thing I want to get back to is honoring African culture as our original ways of life as black people, and promoting that instead of the destruction that has happened to black people through slavery, which usually leads to blaming white people or blaming our African ancestors who sold us. And in the spiritual way, we've used our same African ancestry to defeat white supremacy, and that's where my teachings of Vodun and Voodoo come in, using African spirituality for warfare. So having said that, let me light this incense that I put somewhere. See, one thing on the loan, you playing around with that camera and stuff, and then they start losing and misplacing things. But I must see if I can go ahead and light this incense up. I may have to grab another lighter too. Yeah, let me have to. This one might be. Let me grab another lighter. I will be black. Alrighty. And there was quite a lovely breeze out here. And what are the signs you've dated? What are the signs that you've dated a warlock? Thank you for that question, Blessed Queen. Let me light this up and I'm going to get to answering that. Give me 1 second. And again, I'm going to honor Yemaya and Oshun. I will dip in the water. But let me light this incense. And hopefully you can stay tuned for a few minutes so I can start talking about the signs that you have dated a warlock. So what I'm doing here, show you guys, is I've lit the incense and it's still lit. I'm just gonna put it to the, sorry about that. I lit the incense and I put it there. It's funny because I have a cute little, look at my little lighter holder in my rock. Nature is so witchy. I love it. But yeah, I'm gonna light some more. I put a lot of lighter fluid. Make sure it gets well lit. Good thing is it's warm out today. It's pretty sunny, so the fire should stay. And I'm just gonna smoke out the air, bless up a little bit. Do a little libation. Signs that you have dated a warlock. So I'm just gonna hit this vape. If you guys are listening, let me know that you can hear me the way that my phone is now, or if you can hear me better when I take it off of the rack, because I'm worried that sitting it on the stone is blocking the speaker. So just let me know that you can hear me, and I will start. So I'm just gonna go ahead and actually, what I could do is take you guys over to while the fire is being built or is growing. I'm gonna go ahead and take you guys back over to the stone where I actually do my libations. Over here. It's my ocean grid here. So I'm gonna go ahead and my ocean grid, my yoni eggs. There we go. So I'm just gonna spit on the stones to honor the ancestors. You know, in voodoo, the way we make offerings, we don't just do libations and pour it on the ground. We spit onto whatever part of the altar is meant to receive the offerings, which is usually going to be the fetish. Again, not TMI, but you know, I'm bleeding right now, so I'm not invoking the Eshu to open the gates. I'm dealing just with the mothers. So I'm just spitting on my Oshun grid here. And cheers to you all. A little bit to the ancestors, fallen and risen. And some for us, for the witches. Chaser. Which is going to be OJ, Pina, and manzana. Orange, pineapple, and apple juice. All right, good. I'm glad you can hear me. Quick little smoke offering. Okay. Blessed Queen. Signs that you are dating a warlock. I want to say that dating a warlock is not necessarily a negative thing. If you are worried, an energy vampire. If you are worried that the warlock, witch, or the man who has divine masculinity is using it as an energy vampire, and that he's taking energy from you in a negative way because he has warlock powers, you want to look at, are you losing hair, or is your hair becoming thin and falling out, but his hair is growing longer? Did he have bald spots, balding, bald hair? Was his hair falling out? Did he lose his hair? And you have a full head of hair, and then after maybe a breakup, or after you know, And again, this is more like the negative aspect, because a lot of times a lot of women are trying to figure out if a man is taking their energy with his power. If you notice your hair is thinning, or you start losing hair when he had balding and now you do, but his hair is growing long or thicker, that could be a sign. If here's another way, signs. And then because you used past tense instead of, you said are dating, signs that you have dated a warlock, I'm assuming that this is an ex or in the past. So if you are receiving blessings, or you know that you're about to receive something that you wanted or worked for example, you know that you're up for a promotion at work, or you're getting more shifts, you're making more money, you're getting more income, you're getting more opportunities to make money, and then he calls or he comes back around, he wants to talk, he wants to check in with you, he wants to see how you're doing, have a conversation, and you talk on the phone with this man, and while you're talking on the phone, he says, oh wow, I just got while I'm talking to you, I just got this email that I got promoted, or oh my god, right when we're talking, I just got a text message that, my boss needs me to work, or or oh my god, oh wow, while we're talking, I just got this great news. Sounds a little arbitrary, but what a lot of men who have the gift of warlock, who have the ability, who have supernatural abilities, or who have energy vampirism abilities, what a lot of men will do, women do this too, but a warlock will intentionally call a woman who is naturally gifted to receive, who naturally attracts, so she's going to attract any resources or money, or she's going to attract her desires. He will call just so speaking with you, and just so you even answering the phone and giving him access to you will give him your blessings. He will just automatically siphon your blessings, and he'll call, he'll want to talk, he'll want to check in, because he is lacking something that he knows, just by getting your approval, just by getting your acceptance, just by getting you to respond to him, your energy is going to rub off. So if you ever have distanced yourself, cut someone off, not talk to them for a while, not talk to your ex, and they're calling on their lunch break, or they're calling you while they're at work, they're calling you while they're busy doing something, so they can receive your blessings. Other ways, Yemaya, Oshun, Oya, please help me remember other ways. You dated a warlock. Other ways you dated a warlock. Let's see. I would say this you may need to get more information about, but if he has ever had any supernatural experiences, for example, here, let me make it simple. You say, I have noticed lots of stomach aches, or felt very nauseous around them, or felt very tired. Okay. I'll say just really quickly, another way you will know if this man blacks out a lot, if he blacks out from drinking, or if he blacks out, and I'm not just like passes out from being tired. Does this man black out? Does he have episodes where he'll black out, where he could be driving and he'll black out? He could be talking to you and he'll black out. He could be in the middle of doing something and he'll black out. Not necessarily pass out from I'm dizzy, I'm lightheaded, I'm nauseous, I don't feel good, I'm feeling faint, and oh, I'm gonna pass out. Not, gosh, I'm so tired, I've worked all day. The moment he hits the bed, or oh, he's snoring. Does he black out? Like he's fully coherent, and then next thing you know, he's out, meaning like he's dead. Like you can be shaking him, this, that, and he won't wake up. He's breathing, but he's dead to the world. If he blacks out like that, he is having supernatural experiences, which means he's probably a warlock. He probably has the physical capacity to withhold supernatural entities, high power demons within his physical body. A man blacking out that way, particularly because of alcohol or alcoholism, that is a warlock. Now, when you're talking about you've had stomach aches and felt very nauseous around them and felt very tired, that doesn't necessarily mean he's a warlock. That means that that person is draining your energy like an energy vampire. Again, a warlock and an energy vampire are two different things. Most warlocks have the gift to siphon energy. Because they are not wicked, they do not use that gift in a way that hurts others. They use it in a way that helps other people and gives them energy. Okay? A energy vampire is not necessarily a warlock. An energy vampire does not necessarily have any of the divine masculine gifts that a warlock is born with and has the responsibility for, that a warlock is here to demonstrate and help and ultimately protect witches. The definition of a warlock is the protector of witches. That is also what an ogre, occasionally a troll, is for. You see, the definition of a warlock is a guardian of witches, a masculine guardian of witches, and in human form. That is the definition of a warlock. So what you're describing to drained me a lot, which I was kind of getting when the way you worded have dated a warlock in past tense. You're describing an energy vampire who you're describing a man who, if he is a warlock, who uses his gifts to take away from the woman instead of empower her, he may have to work on that masculinity. Another thing about a warlock, when you are dating a warlock, meaning you have for lack of a better term, you have a healthy, positive you have a healthy relationship with the warlock as a witch, and you both are equally yoked in your power, that man will drain you. But the same way he drains you, he will give you back that energy. And he will allow you to drain him. And he can take back that energy. In a healthy warlock and witch romance, you both are going to be draining and replenishing one another in a cycle. So dating a warlock will drain you, but it will replenish you. So if you have a healthy relationship with a warlock, you're always going to get that energy back from him. You are never going to have to go to another source, another man, your friends, your family, somewhere else to get the energy that he took back. He is always going to hold it, use it, and bring it back to you. When you're dating an energy vampire, you don't date energy vampires. Energy vampires do not commit to a woman. When a person is an energy vampire, not just a person who's blessed with gifts and they occasionally or maybe are not in awareness that they drain other people and they have not become aware that they're doing this, because they're just gifted, and they are not fully aware of their gifts, or they are not fully responsible for their gifts. It doesn't make someone bad because they drain other people's energy. Energy vampire is here to take your energy and leave you without it and take it for themselves. 9 times out of, now I don't want to say 9 times out of 10, but I'm going to say it. 9 times out of 10, an energy vampire at that level is a incubus or a succubus. The thing about the incubus is the incubus works for the succubus. The succubus works for Satan. So if you are dealing with an incubus as a witch, the incubus, the highest form of energy vampirism, the incubus, and remember the incubus, why is he the highest form? Because he takes all forms of energy, including sexually. Everyone can't take your sexual energy unless you give it to them. The incubus is after your sexual energy, which is why he gets into a romantic relationship with you instead of just being around you, hanging out with you, taking your energy through a mutual interaction. The incubus is seeking out sex with you. Highest form of energy vampirism, next to just Satan himself, or Dracula, or the succubus. So the incubus works for the succubus because he brings back the witch's energy to the succubus. The succubus goes after warlocks, unfortunately, and oftentimes in a home wrecking way. Why does a succubus go after the warlock? Because the warlock is usually a protector of a witch. And if she can get that warlock to take the energy of the witch that he is with and give it to the succubus instead of recycling it to the witch that he's with, then she is getting that witch's power. A succubus has no access to the power of a witch. So she needs an incubus to sleep with her for her. Because a succubus cannot directly take away the power of a witch. Now, a witch can do things to take away another witch's power. If she is satanic, that is what she's going to do. A succubus does not have the authority to take away the sexual energy of a witch. She has to recruit an incubus to do that for her. That is why a lot of succubus will have a home wrecking energy, because they can't access the woman that they really, all this energy is coming from the witch. The warlock's energy cannot be used that way. How can I say this? The warlock has a power that energy vampirism cannot access. It can't access, because energy vampirism is, I don't want to say that it's masculine, but energy vampirism is kind of the power of the warlock. So it can't take away a warlock's power. It can only take away the witch's power for it. Energy vampirism lacks the witch's power. Energy vampirism is the power of the warlock. It lacks the witch's femininity. So all energy vampirism is seeking out the witch. It's seeking out the sacred feminine witch. All energy vampirism is seeking out that blessing, sacred femininity. Why? The woman is more innocent than the man. And the woman holds the innocence of the youth, so to speak. The woman is an intercession between the man and the child, because and we got a lot of feminist movement talking about men molesting children and all this stuff. But really, the woman has enough innocence to intersect between the man and the child, because she came second to Adam. She is more innocent and naive than the man, who was created first in God's image. So she is the intersection between the most innocent, which is a baby. All right? She can become as mature as the man, but she was always going to be more innocent than him, because she was created second. All right? just like the child is created after the woman. Childbirth was created after the woman. So the child is the only thing that is more innocent than the woman, than the female. So the female, the sacred feminine energy is what's ultimately Satan is after. That's why Satan went to Eve, because if he had went to Adam, she would have been protected. She was protected, but you know, so to speak, Adam did protect her, but Adam chose to fall with her because of his mistake, which was not protecting his wife. Satan goes after the woman. We are protected by men. So that woman has to go through the man and convince that man to take our energy without giving it back to us and give it to her instead. That's when Lilith comes in. So people talk about Lilith, but Lilith was just another form of the serpent in the Garden of Eden. Lilith and Satan were essentially the same thing in that regard. So that just is to say that is why all energy vampirism is coming after a witch. It's coming after Eve, who has the apple, who is the witch, the original woman. So a succubus does not have authority to take your energy. She has to recruit a warlock to have sex with you. Sean Bryant, hey, long time. It is dynamic equilibrium of sacred exchange. You said my stomach doesn't hurt as much since you left him. You've met both. Blessed Queen said, Blessed Queen. Is there a way I can protect my energy from energy vampires and warlocks? I tend to meet them a lot. I have protection bracelets. I stopped wearing them for a little bit. I'm not sure why. Because when your protection bracelet is doing its work, it's going to get heavier, and you're going to feel the negative energy that it was guarding you from because it's absorbing it. So you have to stop wearing it because now it's full of negative energy. It did its job, and now it's too heavy for you, and you have to get another one. Give that one back to, so to speak, the spirit realm through a burning ritual of some sort, or releasing it. I would not, in this instance, suggest cleansing it. For example, if it is something like you were talking about bracelets and stuff, those things need to either be buried or burned or something like that, because if it's becoming too heavy, it's done its job, and you need to get rid of that energy that it's guarding you from. Sometimes you can cleanse, empower, just like I'm doing with my yoni eggs. You're empowering them in the sunlight. You're charging them. You're recharging them. It's great to recharge things, but when something has, and you know, when something has taken on when your protection jewelry and your protection items have taken on an attack that was thrown at you, or have guarded you against a lot of negativity, they will break. They will just break and fall off of you. So it's time to get new jewelry, and just stick to copper. I would say for you, in this case, stick to copper. You can get some amethyst, which will protect you from energy vampires. You can get amethyst and wrap that around copper. I think you probably need to, after you do some cleansing, you will probably need to get some waist beads. You'll probably need to get some yellow waist beads so Oshun can replenish your sexuality. You're talking about stomach aches and nausea and that, but your sexuality was zapped as well. Good, you recharge them in the sun. So hopefully that works. If they were metal, if they were any form of metal, recharging them in sunlight could work. If they were a form of glass, stone, beads, something like that, they should break. They should break, you know. They should be breaking the curse. They should break to break the spell or the curse. but you're gonna need to get some yellow. You maybe could do white and blue, but I think yellow. If you know, you could do white and blue for Obatala and Yemaya, who will cleanse you and purify you and make you clean for something new to come in. Or you could just do Oshun, yellow, which is just going to replenish your sunny energy. It's going to replenish your glow, but it's also going to replenish your sexuality, which is what an energy vampire and an incubus, they zap your sexuality. So the Oshun beads, that's going to help you attract, but the purple amethyst around the copper is going to give you the wisdom to know who to let into your orbit and who to deny access to. You didn't have that wisdom. You didn't do wisdom rituals, and you didn't, and that's Oya. You're gonna get some of that wisdom from Oya and Mama Bridget in the cemetery where Oya rules the graveyard as well. That's that wisdom. That's when your menstrual cycle helps you get in your right mind and create justice for yourself. So the purple around the copper is going to be Oya giving you the wisdom needed to hold Oshun's gift of attraction. If you squander Oshun's gift of attraction and let everyone or anyone, or you don't vet people before you bless them when they come around, you know, bless them by giving them access to you, or just even by just touching them, that's when you can, that's when you'll start to see flies. You'll start to see gnats, fruit flies in your house, insects. That's symbolic of letting the wrong people in. That's symbolic of casting your pearls before swine. I'll give you an example if you're still listening, blessed queen. I recently sent out an invite to, I would say, about 30 people. And I saw little fruit flies, and I didn't have any fruit in my room, anything like that, but I saw little fruit flies buzzing around my drink. And I immediately knew that some of the people, at least 2 or 3 of the people I invited are enemies to me. They know me, but they're either in competition with me. They don't like me, but they stay in contact because they want to use me to make themselves look better. Or they are people that I cut off and cut ties to, decided to try again with, and should have just listened to my first instinct and kept that person blocked. Or not even blocked, just remembered that this is not a person that I need to associate with if I don't see them in the streets. I don't need to ever reach out to them in my personal life from the realm of my temple. I don't need to reach out to this person. I can see them in the streets, and that's the only interaction I ever need to have with them. I went against that, and so I know at least 2 or 3 people, and now I have to pray to God to reveal to me who in my circle can I simply not trust, who in my circle is not meant to be around me, and you got to wait for that answer. So I hope that helps, blessed queen. But at this time, I'm actually going to go check and see. I'm going to do another quick libation. And I hope someone else has a question for me. I do want to do more live oracle consultation. And another thing, like I said, if something has such negative energy that you just don't want to wear it anymore, and you don't think recharging it is going to do the trick, give it to Yemaya. Bury it to give it to Oya, because she rules the graveyard, and even though she is an air spirit, when you bury something, you're doing the ritual in the cemetery, and then that's actually offering it to Oya, so she could bring it to heaven. That's what burying. That's how the witchcraft, burial witchcraft works in that way. giving things to the water, you can, in some Haitian voodoo or whatever, make a little raft and you can put like offerings on it, and that would be more for Erzuli and Agwe. But this is also a form of Yemaya because Yemaya marries Agwe and Erzuli, in fact. So in more Haitian style, coming from more coastal regions where they do honor the calypso spirits, the siren spirits, the mermaid spirits, you can give things to Yemaya. And there's another spirit, Ibu Timibu, who you only want to work with at night under the starlight, not necessarily moonlight, starlight, because she's dealing with destiny. Destiny deals with stars. She's granting wishes like a genie. Ibu Timibu is where the water of Oshun and the water of Yemaya meet. So it's where fresh water and salt water meet. And you only want to work with her at night under starlight. Dark moon, not necessarily, but she's not dealing with the moon. She's dealing with star energy, because she's dealing with destinies. So Ibu Timibu is a messenger form of Yemaya, who can grant wishes if you know how to offer her and find her and ask her under the starlight. But when it comes to Yemaya, you can offer something to the water, salt water. You can take a boat trip and throw it over the boat. That would be a great way of getting rid of negative energy. We saw that at the end of Titanic, when everyone's talking about how she drops the blue heart. But again, the experience of the Titanic that she had, it absorbed all that negative energy. And after she did the documentary, because the documentary was her way of releasing it, and she recycled the blessing of having survived that by giving it back to the water. Recycling. Of course, everyone's like, oh, she wasted it. She could have did this with that. She could have did that with that. She could have gave it to her grandchildren. No, she was practicing witchcraft by recycling it, giving it back to where it came from. And also, in turn, honoring the gift of survival that she had, and the experience that she got to have with a warlock. On the Titanic, Leonardo DiCaprio's character, that was very warlock. He got on that ship. He didn't have no resources, and he did something out of nothing. He knew how to get by, and he protected her. She was redhead. Redhead symbolizes witches. So there's that. But you can go on a boat. You can go on a ship and drop something off of it to offer it to Yemaya, because it needs to be in the salt water. Now, when it's fresh water like this, you can have Oshun give it to Yemaya, so to speak. You can invoke Yemaya through fresh water and Oshun. Always you can do that. But again, with Oshun, you're dealing with burning. Oshun was that peacock. Peacock actually is Yemaya. So although Oshun gets a lot of credit for it, technically the peacock was under Yemaya. Just like Oshun also gets credit for being the most beautiful Orisha, but before that, Oya, particularly in Brazilian Vodun, she was always considered the most beautiful. You got to remember, Oshun is young. So before sex, and which means before humans, who had sex? Not the angels? Before humans, Yemaya and Oya were the equal but opposite forms of femininity. Oya was considered the most beautiful. Yemaya was the womb, the source. And they butted heads. Oshun and Shango are the human form of these divine masculine or divine masculine and femininity. They are the human form. They came to demonstrate how these powers translate into a human form. That's why they represent sexuality in ways that no other Orisha does, because humans have sex and procreate. Humans are attracted to each other physically. These other Orisha, they were in the spirit realm. So that's why Oshun is given credit for being the peacock, Yemaya's daughter, who flew to heaven, because she did it on behalf of the human beings. She did it on behalf of the human beings. Now Shango, her brother and lover, and king, who's technically younger than her, who came after, Shango came after Oshun, but Shango rules rules over the man or human rulership, because kingdoms were for the human. The king was meant to rule other humans. Are there kings in heaven? Or they're just dragons? So what is a dragon? What is a female dragon? That's a queen. A dragon is a king or a drake. So in heaven, they're just dragons. But in human form, it is a king and a queen. Shango is the king. Before Shango, Ogun was the divine masculine warrior. The other side of Ogun was Obatala, the purity. Ogun was slashing and raping and killing and doing, but he, you can't beat Ogun. You know, you pray to Ogun, he'll make your blood invincible, where no one can bring harm to you, because your blood is, because of the metal he'll put in your blood, where you can't get hurt. A bullet can't hurt you. You can't get hurt through being stabbed. You can get shot but not hurt. And here's another way that you might know that you date a warlock. If you've dated him and you still love him, has he been shot? Has he been in car accidents? Has he been in these violent situations and he came out nearly unscathed, or he just didn't die? If you have loved a warlock and you bless the warlock with that love, even if you guys are not still together, if you love a warlock and you hold love in your heart for him, he can't be hurt through violence. That's another way to know if you have dated a warlock or are dating a warlock. If you love him, and you love him sexually, he will be immune to being hurt or killed through violence. Because Ogun has that ability, and Ogun is the warlock. You see? So you got the other side of Ogun before humanity and Shango was Obatala. When you put Obatala and Ogun together, you get Shango. When you put Oya and Yemaya together, you get Oshun. Please understand this in Vodun. Oshun deals with fire and the flame and burning things, because she lost her beauty, her peacock beauty that she gets from her mom or from Oya, her physical beauty, and she burned to go up to the sun to petition Oshumare to bring water so the humans didn't have to suffer drought, because they didn't know how to farm or nothing. Okay. So that's that. That's that. So if you offer something to Oshun, it must be burnt. Hence my fireplace. So yeah, I'm just gonna see if it's ready, if I can put some stuff on it, if it starts smoking up or not. I might have to. Yeah, the coals aren't super hot, so I'm gonna just have to reignite. Any other questions? You're still shocked about what I said, kept wondering to yourself why you stopped wearing your protection. I'm glad this is helping. I really was hoping that somebody needed some counseling today. Because I really want to start doing it again. I just want to start getting back to giving oracle consultations, doing it live. I'm ready to go forward with my brand, and my goal is to get 5 clients a month, which me getting 5 clients a month who would book an oracle consultation, that would afford me to essentially afford me to go from working full-time to working part-time. So that's why I want to start showing up more on my channel for my brand as Black High Priestess, as witch, because I've done so much lately with being a Psalm, being a wine expert, doing just doing a lot through my employment. And I missed during COVID when I was unemployed and I was able to be Black High Priestess full time, and I'm ready to get back to that. So I really just want to go live at least once a week and do complimentary oracle consultations. So yeah, just I have my Etsy shop is still up, so you can book a reading anytime. And when I do the readings, sometimes it could take a day or two to receive all the insights and give it to you. So if you want to book a reading, I would suggest book it during a week that you have free time, so we can schedule it at your convenience, but get it scheduled as soon as possible for your convenience. And just know that sometimes, if it's urgent, it's urgent. I've had people have it urgent, but I do like to take a day or two to prepare myself, prepare my temple to receive your energies and whatever messages I'm meant to relay to you spiritually. So I love doing this is what I really love doing. So again, you guys make sure that when you're releasing these energies, as especially if you're a female during your menstrual and you are not able to petition Ogun to fight for you, or Ochosi to seek out your enemies and destroy them. Ochosi will do that. If or Eshu to clear the way, to clear out the way. you know um you can, or you definitely don't want to deal with Obatala, because he white and everything. Tala, to just kind of create purity in your life, and create a clean slate. You want to deal with the mothers, and you want to let them work in their secret ways that they're designed to work in time away from men. Let the mothers protect you with the wisdom of the Iyami, which is the Trinity, the mothers. Thank you, blessed Queen. And again, I'm still gonna be live for. I'm gonna dip in the water, but I'll be live for a little bit too. But that's a great topic, you guys. Dating a warlock, and maybe today we could just I'm Sean Bryan, I don't know if you're still around, but feel free to ask questions, everyone. But sometimes it's good to just help out the ladies and talk about some girly stuff when you are on your menstrual. It is a great time for women's empowerment. Another way to know you've dated a warlock, the power of having sex with you while your blood is powerful. Okay, while you are in that releasing phase, and he won't have a problem with it. So that could be another sign. And again, that's not necessarily energy vampirism. Could be, though. Definitely. And things are not going right in his life because he's depleted. And usually he's depleted because he becomes aggressive, and he will not care whether you're bleeding or not. He needs to have sex with you because things are not going right in his life, and he needs to get paid. He needs his money to come through. His people falling. So he needs to have sex with you, hurry, so something can go right. That's a warlock. They don't give a damn about you bleeding. They want to be all up in your face and all up in your space and all up in your place. You're bleeding. Here. That's a warlock. So again, your blood is sacred, ladies. So another thing I do want to say, do not feel pressure to be active when you are bleeding, ladies. You have got to honor the and I'm gonna get a little Eastern medicinal on you guys. Honor your chi, your energy. Honor the chi of the blood flowing out of you, and don't be so active. Don't be going to the gym. Don't be trying to work out. Don't be hanging out every day, all day, going on benders and hanging out, bar hopping and this event, that event. Don't go to work. If you can help it, if you can take the day off, and you know, or if you can take a break, if you can use sick time, don't go into work. I would say don't work at all. But if you can work remotely, and literally be in bed, you know, while you're working. When you're bleeding, you're supposed to be in bed bleeding. You're supposed to be sedentary and letting the blood flow. You're just supposed to be in your most comfortable space, and you're supposed to be letting the blood flow. When you are working out and when you're actually even standing up and moving around actively while you're on your period, that blood is being pumped into the other parts of your body. When you're sedentary and you're letting the blood flow out of you, you're going to have an easier period because it's not fighting with trying to replenish your body and trying to release itself. That's where cramps and migraines and headaches come from. Please, ladies, when you're on your period, lay down until you stop bleeding, or until the womb has shedded. And you know what I mean by that. You know, the first 2-3 days, sometimes it could be the 4th day. Our bodies are all different, but you know, when the heaviest part of your period is over with and you're just spotting, then you might be ready to get up. You're sick of laying down. You're sick of feeling drowsy. You're sick of feeling like no energy. You're sick of feeling like you're going to pass out every time you stand up because your blood is leaving your body. You're sick of feeling weak, and you're ready to go hang out. You're ready to do stuff. You know, you're ready to have sex. You know, you're probably ready to have sex anyway, you know, because your body's still trying to get pregnant. But you get what I'm saying? Sex is one thing, and frankly, sex, if done properly and not in a aggressive way, can relieve you of your period symptoms and can relieve cramps and stuff. However, please, ladies, on your period, just lay down and don't do nothing until your womb lining has shedded, because your body needs time to heal. And if you're younger, like if you're in your 20s, you may not, you may succumb to the pressure to just wear a pad, wear a tampon, go outside, you know, you got to do this, that. You may succumb to that pressure to just act like you're not a lady and act like you're not different. But as you get older, your body is going to let you know that you are a woman. You're not a man. This period is meant to replenish you and empower your energy in ways that men get different empowerment from. The way a woman gets cleansing and healing and releasing from her period, that's the way men get it from having sex with a woman that he don't like, and he's just giving her his mess. Men release, the way we get released in period, a lot of men got to find some woman he don't even like to have sex with, just to dump his mess, to dump his sexual mess. But our sexual mess gets dumped every month. That's why we can recover. Men can't get their heart broken, so they go around breaking hearts, trying to avoid getting theirs broken, because they don't have no way to release it except raping a woman. We don't have to do that. We can just it comes out of us. But a man has to find a womb to dump trash in to release his anger, his sexual anger. Our sexual anger gets released every month, ladies. So honor that. Honor not being a man and having to go hurt people to feel better. Honor that. You don't want to be no man out here. All right? You don't want to be a man. Okay? You don't want to have to hurt someone to feel better about yourself the way men do. All right? So, moon circles and things like that, that could be very beneficial. However, remember, ladies, you're better off staying to yourself. You're better off staying to yourself during your period, and working, working with your ancestors, working with the Holy Spirit, cooking, doing, just cooking even can take too much energy when you're on your period. But make sure you are eating red meat, or at least poultry and dairy. Don't play no vegan bullshit when you're bleeding and you need to replenish blood. You need iron. And you need to get that iron from red meat, poultry, or dairy. You can do tuna. You can do fish too, but do some metallic fish like tuna. You need to replenish metal in your body. Iron specifically when you bleed. So ladies, don't bullshit yourself about all this vegan mess. Don't play with yourself with that vegan stuff. Get some iron in your body somehow. All right, mushrooms ain't gonna cut it every time. Now, let's be so for real. So stay healthy, ladies. If you vegan, go drink some whole milk. Go have a matcha latte when you're on your period, just for the sake of keeping healthy. You don't want to eat real meat or something, please go at least have a matcha latte or two while you're bleeding, so you don't damage your body. All right, I just had to say that veganism is not a natural diet. It was a protest against animal cruelty. That's how veganism started. Veganism started as a protest against animal cruelty. The way people, they starve themselves to protest something bad, and then they have to change whatever before the people die from starvation. Veganism was a way to protest animal cruelty. Humans said, we're going to starve ourselves and not eat animals to protest the cruelty. It was not a human diet that was like, oh, this is the diet. People were vegan when they were starving and could not hunt and gather. Mainly hunt. So if you couldn't hunt, came from a tribe that didn't know how to hunt and couldn't fish, yeah, you were vegan. Other than that, don't kid yourself being some liberal out here. Be so real with yourself. And another thing about being so for real, I want to talk to ladies, to black women, about dating black men. Ladies, a lot of us are not thinking for ourselves. We are letting influencers and society, and we're letting women who think too highly of themselves because they have a degree while black, or because they look good and they're black, or because they are able to get other races of men to be attracted to them even though they're black. A lot of influencers are encouraging women to do hypergamy and encouraging women to go get the best, richest man, and encouraging women to know their worth. And a lot of black women are forgetting that slavery happened and our men were castrated. And because black women have achieved so much, they are influencing other women to date rich men. And when it comes to being so for real, as a woman, turn off all these other voices and decide what makes you happy. If sleeping with a black man who is broke and doesn't have this and doesn't have that, if that makes you happy, be happy. It's frankly no one's business who you sleep with. So stop trying to sleep with men who have this, that, and the third, and degrading men who don't have those things because you think it makes you look good, and you think it's cute, and you were told that you deserve it because some other woman had enough self-esteem to feel like she deserved more than the men that were hollering at her. You don't have to take what you can get from men. You can actively date and go on dates, go to neighborhoods, spend money to put yourself in an environment where the men that you desire are. Of course, you don't have to take no bums in your community because they're around. Of course, you don't have to accept a black man who does not meet your standard. But ladies, black women specifically, our race is cursed. So stop letting other women who are not suffering a curse and who are not under a curse from God, to suffer the ways the black woman is meant to suffer. Our curse as a black woman is our men hate us, and the ones that don't ain't shit. That is our curse to bear. So if you genuinely don't want to be a white woman and you are okay with being black and understanding that that comes with a curse, yes, there's all these blessings. No, there's not one single black person on this planet who would trade being cursed for being white. But if you feel that way, black women, it gets to a point where we got to turn off the other voices. If we are experiencing the pain of the curse and we're tired and we're frustrated, that's one thing. If we're just listening to other influencers and we're afraid of the fact that we're in love with a man who doesn't have anything, now you're not living for yourself. Now you're not living your happy best life. Now you're living for the validation of others. And I'm not talking to women who are dating with intention and are not going to settle their standards. I'm talking to women who are in love with black men that are not rich and maybe are not educated, as some of the other men that you can date. But you don't love these men, and you don't love these men in that same way, and you are not sexually aroused by these men in that same way because they can't relate to you on the level of you are cursed black people with African heritage. Black women, if being black in fact is your priority, and you are in love with a black man, and you've fallen in love with him because of his blackness, it's no one's business how much he makes or how many kids he has or how proper of English he speaks or what college he went to or didn't go to. If you love him, love him. If you would be devastated if he died or if something happened to him, then love him while he's here. And stop letting influencers tell you that because you have a degree, you shouldn't let other guys who don't be with you and you got to go for this. Stop letting influencers tell you, because they're all in the camera because they're bored and their life isn't good enough to where they don't need social media to validate them. So turn off all that other stuff. Turn off the voice of your parents. Turn off what the Bible says. Turn off Christianity. Turn off the voices of your pastors and your preachers and your deacons. Turn off the voices of your parents and your friends and your family members and your coworkers and the influencers that you listen to and your therapist and your life coach. Turn off those voices and sit with your own voice for a week or a month. And in fact, stop talking to other people in general. Reel it back and go silent. I'm not saying ghost people or cut them off. I'm saying go silent so you can cut off all these other voices and listen to the voice in your heart. And if the voice in your heart tells you that you love a man, it should not matter how much money he makes. And as much as I talk and warn black women about black men, I want you guys to be happy. And some of you guys, you would be happier just dating a black man. If you already got the degree and you already got the money and you already got this, and that man isn't trying to use you because of it, you just happen to be in love with a black man who slavery might have got to him a little bit, and he ain't doing as good as these other men who had legs up and last names to get them through life. Girl, go live your best life and have some good sex and hang out with the man you love and enjoy his company. If the juice is worth the squeeze, please drink. Please have yourself a drink. If the juice is worth the squeeze, please fill your glass up and enjoy it. I am so sick of black women getting in the camera trying to explain away, well, I shouldn't have sex with him because he didn't have this and don't meet this standard, but I want to have sex with him, but I know my worth. So don't nobody give a damn about your worth, neither do you. In the long run, your worth is worthless if you are unhappy being alone. When you could choose to be with somebody who just happens to not be rich, but you are fulfilled from spending time with them and loving them. If you get fulfillment You know, ladies, don't let influencers talk you out of being happy. Don't let no influencers keep you being in the crab in a bucket trying to tell you about your worth and this and that, when you can just go have some fun. You got the degree so you could live your best life. You didn't get the degree so you can, oh, a man's got to have a degree and he's got to have this and this and that. If you're a black woman, you have access to black men that these white women are fighting for, because they're so bored with having a degree and having everything that they have been handed in life. They are so bored that they are dying to have sex with a black man. And I guarantee you, most of them will sleep with the janitor, the busboy, the toilet scrubber, the cook at their job, as long as he's black, and they can get a thrill from experiencing some sense of poverty and oppression by fucking a black dude. They're all doing it. So you as a black woman, you got access to that exotic, thrilling black man. If that gets you off, stop trying to justify it because you have a degree, or because of some white man liked you and now you feel like you can do better. And go and drink your fill of what brings you pleasure. If the juice is worth the squeeze, fill your glass and drink it. Make lemonade. But don't talk yourself and self-worth yourself out of living your best life. If he, what about the men that be cheating? What about them? I'm not talking about them. Who cares? They're cheating. We're talking about a woman who is black and is letting all these influencers convince her that she needs to know her worth and live her best life, when she would be happier just dealing with black men that love her, instead of being influenced that he's not good enough because he doesn't have a degree like you do. Set your standard. Don't settle. But don't let other people talk you as a black woman out of the access you have to black men that every other race of woman is hoping we give them. Black women, please stop letting your degrees and the car that you drive and the clout that you got and the validation you got because some man of another race smiled at you twice or bought you some groceries. Stop letting that shit go to your head. Remember, every woman on this planet is dying to get access and validation from the men that are naturally ours. If you can get pleasure from that, get pleasure from a black man. And this goes for all women too. Ladies, if you are in love with a man who is not qualified who doesn't meet the qualifications that all these influencers and dating coaches and these other people are giving you, remember, no, you're living your life in your body for the rest of while you're here. Please make decisions for that person. Everyone talking to you don't have to live your life. You do. Stop letting people talk you out of being happy because they told you you're worth more. Ain't nobody worth nothing. Because you know what? Everyone's shit stinks. So who is really worth more than what? The moment your shit does not stink when you use the bathroom, that's when you're worth more. And I will tell you right now, people who have a healthy diet, their shit does not smell as bad as people who eat Popeyes every day or McDonald's every night. So yeah, when your shit does not stink as bad as other people's, then you have something to offer that could be detrimental for you dealing with someone whose shit smells worse than yours. But that's the criteria we need to go off of from now on when it comes to dating. Does that sound a little different than other stuff I've said? Maybe, but I've done a lot of accountability from paying my own bills, and so I just want black women to realize the goal is to be happy, not to have more than the next woman. The goal is to be happy, not to have something better than the next woman. The goal is for you to be happy in your body and your life in your realm, not to get approval from other people who don't have to sleep in your bed. in your body. So start letting the criteria be, does his shit smell as bad as mine? Okay, cool. Then why should I care what someone thinks? The moment your shit smells better than his, then you can start thinking about, this might not be a healthy relationship for me. I may be healthier than him. So that needs to be the criteria from now on. How bad whose shit smells worse? If both of y'all shit stink, then no one's better than anyone else. Then no one's worth more than the next person is. You may be worth more you may be in another tax bracket, or but when it comes to a romantic relationship, are you happy or not? What about if they're cheating? You're interested because Caribbean men love staring at you in public every day when you're in public. Black men find you attractive at times. Here's the thing. As a woman, it's not your job to stop a man from cheating. It's his job. You don't know if he's cheating because you don't know that man who's staring at you. You don't know if he's married unless you see a ring on his finger. So until you look at his hand and notice that he's got a wedding ring, and you ask him, hey, is that a wedding ring? Now it's your responsibility to say, I'm not going to flirt with a married man. But it's never your responsibility to stop a married man from cheating on his wife or girlfriend. That's his responsibility, not yours. What race do I like? I love reptiles. I've never been really fond of human beings. Personally, reptiles have always been my favorite species. The human race is not, there's elves and dwarves and gnomes and all this other stuff. Those were the races before it was black, African or European or American, or Native American, Central American and Australian and all the, like the Tower of Babel confounded the languages. And so when the Tower of Babel being struck down, when God confounded the languages and everyone had to go along with who they spoke like, that until before the languages were confounded, it was the human race. So I've never been fond of the human race. So now I sound like I like reptilians or something, but maybe I like reptilians. I don't know. I like dragons. I'll say my favorite. What race do I like? The draconian race. That would be the honest truth. I like the draconian race. Humans, which means I prefer to date warlocks. Which means I like warlocks. Just gonna make some more burnt offerings here. You guys gotta understand the African is different than the African American. A lot of Africans have wealth. They know their heritage. They're family oriented. They have religious morals. A lot of them don't smoke weed like Black Americans do, and all the they're different than us. They are royal compared to Black Americans. So, my sacred femininity doesn't really, I'm not here to elevate a man, so to speak, but my sexuality, does allow me to empower men, and, I'm going to empower the men of my race, as much as, it's about that thing of, you got to think positively, and ultimately, if I think of all the positive experiences I have with Black people, I wouldn't have time to remember all the fuckery that they do. So as long as you're part of the solution, black people are not going to be a problem for you. I'm just going to say that when it comes to, dating and stuff. Have fun. But the moment you want to start a family, you better date someone of your same heritage so you can agree on how to raise those children. That's all I'll say. The moment you want to have a kid by somebody, make sure they're of your same race so you can agree on how to raise it. And so you don't give it genetic discord. A lot of insects around. How's everyone doing though? How's everybody? I'm just building on my fire. It's a June bug. Sorry guys. That's a big ass June bug. It's a bug. You see it flying all big there? Anyway, it's coming in around the fire. It's like right there, the June bug. It's right there. Ew. They're too much for me, bro. They're beautiful. See, they'll attack you. I need my butt. It took over, y'all. I'm running away from this June bug. Sorry. Yeah, it's all. I gotta work on. I gotta work on that. It's too much. It's all. You know why? Because it smells the burnt offerings. Whew. But yeah, it smells whatever I have. I don't know. It's probably wants some food or something. Whew. All around my fireplace. Sorry about that, y'all. Yeah, I'm just putting the offerings here. And then I have this cake that I made, and I'm just stuck the incense in there because I don't want to smother the fire because it's a pretty big chunk of cake. So I'm just letting it smoke out and letting stuff burn out slowly because I don't want to smother it. It's looking good though. I just have the thing of compost, like I said, compost, burnt offerings, things that could be better burned and made as a sweet smell to the heavens. We did burnt offerings as Hebrew Israelites. So if it could be turned into a sweet smell to the heavens and be made into a burnt offering instead of just thrown out in the garbage, which doesn't mean it's going to get buried back into the earth and recycled. So yeah, blessed queen. I'm doing good. I'm happy to be out here. I'm feeling good about things. And another reason I'm going live, actually, thanks for asking, blessed queen, is in honor of my friend, a black female getting married to a black man. Congrats. And she has been with him for a while. They have a son together who's grown now. And they've been together for a while. They got a son together, and they decided to get married today. So it's great to see a black couple choose marriage, and choosing to make it official. Even though they've been together, they're choosing to make it official. And they chose to get married this day because it would be 888 numerologically. 8 August, 8th day of August, and the year 2026. Well, if you just take the 2-6, the 2-6 equals 8. So they got married today in honor of the 888 numerology and the infinity, which we're dealing with cycling and recycling. So that's, today is a message about recycling energies. About witchcraft. The foundation of witchcraft is recycling. Yeah, I'm happy for them. It's great to see black couples choosing to get married and choosing to do that despite having been together, it will bring a blessing. The ritual of marriage will bring a blessing when you choose to do it the right way in that ritual. Rituals are designed to create a result. A ritual is meant to create a result. A tradition is, that's one thing. A holiday is another thing. But a ritual, a rite of passage, is meant to endow someone with a blessing that comes with the new responsibility. So a ritual is a rite of passage that endows you with the blessing that also comes with the responsibility. So when you take on the responsibility of being married instead of just shacking up, you get the blessing of being married instead of saying my baby mama, my baby daddy. So I'm celebrating that and reminding, black women that you can overcome the curse, and that we are black women. And a lot of us don't get married until we're older. We don't get married right out of college like our white counterparts do. A lot of us who come from poverty, not those of us who come from that, not those of us who come from that privileged realm, that passing for white realm, where you go from being a daughter to a wife. Those of us who come from the struggle and cursed realm of being black. We may never get married. We may be too old to want marriage by the time it becomes even an option to us. So ladies, don't ever feel like you have to settle, but also remember, as black women, we are having a different experience, and we don't need to compare ourselves to white women who have been gift wrapped eligible bachelors in their community. Be careful of that. Would you rather be a black woman getting bums hollering at you, baby daddies hollering at you, broke niggas hollering at you, or would you rather be a white girl so bored with your whiteness that you are desperate for black dick, don't have no access to it unless you have some black friends or some weird shit, and you just do anything to sleep with a black man just so you can feel interesting as a woman? Would you rather be interesting as a woman, or would you rather be so desperate to be interesting that you as a white woman will let a inferior black man who's inferior to you and the men of your race and inferior to your father and the way he raised you, would you rather be so bored with that you're desperate to get a thrill from sleeping with a black man? And I'm asking you sisters this because a lot of you all don't have that experience. I know what that's like. I grew up around white men. I grew up with around superior men, and I can still relate to ones that are like my father. But when you have so much and you are so above the men of your race, when you are so far ahead in life than the men of your race, you could choose to deal with white boys, or you could choose to live your best life regardless of what other people think, because you're doing what actually makes you happy, and you've accepted that you're the one who has to live the rest of your life. All right? It's easy to date black men when that's all you know. But when you know how different it is being with a white man who has a house, has a car, has a career, has expendable income, has a yacht, has a vacation home in another state or another country, versus dating a baby daddy whose car is broken down and has 2 kids by one woman, 3 kids by another woman, a daughter by some other chick he met 3 years ago, and he's still single, and he's driving Uber for a living, and his car just broke down. You know what I'm saying? When you were raised to relate to rich white men like I was, and your father also raised you to know where you came from, which was the gutters of Chicago, what the fuck are you gonna do? Whatever the fuck you want. And that's what I need you sisters to understand. Freedom, I want to demonstrate what freedom is. And it starts with how you think and what you do. And when you do whatever you want, that makes you free. But when you do what other people tell you to do because they told you it's right, because they think you're this and they think you're worth that, and now you're a slave to everyone's opinion. I want y'all to know part of being a witch is living free. And that is really having a free sexuality to say, I have access to these men and I'm going to enjoy the ones that I enjoy the most. You know, if you're not enjoying it, if they're not meeting your standards, if you're not being treated properly, if you're not getting fulfillment, please pack it up and move on. You know, or live your best life. And, you know, you don't have to tell nobody about it. It's nobody's business, you know, why you're not married, or, you know, or who we did. At the end of the day, it's no one's business. So as you get older, ladies, I'm urging you to think less about what looks good on paper in society and start thinking about what gives you the best orgasm. All right, because that's and not having orgasms, not enjoying sex, not enjoying socializing with people who make you laugh and make you smile and make you feel good and give you the love that you like, and just relate to you on certain levels. That can be stressful too. So a lot of people living for validation and working like slaves and stressing themselves out. Life is stressful enough. Decide who you love and spend time with those people before one day you look up and they're not there anymore. I think I'm gonna dip in the water a little bit too. Oh, it's been 2 hours already. That's unreal. I don't even feel like this much, but every time I look up, it's like an hour went by. And then I'm like, how are you guys even listening to me rant this long? But I hope that it helps. I really hope it's helping. And I hope you're getting information, you know, that, you know, you hope you're getting the information you need. So I'm going to go back. So I'm going to let some of this stuff burn out a little bit too. And I'm going to come back to the Oshun grid. So I just got some other stuff on there smoking up. And see, if you clean your altar with cards, if you clean your altar space and clean up ashes and certain stuff like that with like little cards and things, you can burn that too. If it has remnants of sacred incense and sacred things, you know, or anything that may have your DNA on it, you know, hair, nails, menstrual blood, anything that may still hold any of your DNA that you don't want, you know, floating around. Don't forget to burn it. Offer it back to Oshun, so your DNA always helps you glow. Oshun gives you glow. And when you burn things, you're offering it to Oshun. So I'm going to let that simmer. And I'm going to come back to my Oshun grid. Dragonflies. Yeah, thank you for listening, Blessed Queen, and everyone. Doing a little more libations with you, and have some more of my juice. Actually have some soda water on ice here, so. And since it's been a couple hours and I might be out here a couple more, I'm just going to actually rotate the yoni eggs so they all get, you know, good angles of light. I'm going to rotate them. Some offerings. So I'm just going to, I'm going to head in the water. I'm going to put the camera here and I'm just going to head in the water real quick and then I'll come back to you guys. But don't hesitate to ask any questions. I'm going to keep the camera on and I'll be right back. Hey guys, that was so refreshing. The water's it's a little murky. You can tell it's like kind of after. It hasn't stormed in like almost over a week, but the water, last time I was here, is a little more clear, a little more shallow. It's really murky, and the as you can see, the sand is like really flat. It's not really wavy or rocky. The shoreline is there, so it's kind of that, like that, slightly like that after the storm. There's some debris, but it's just like kind of leaves and sticks. But it's not it's not as clear, but it's pretty. It's nice and refreshing, and it is a little warmer than last time too. The water's finally getting warm, but here, the water, it gets the warmest in October, because when October comes, it's all the frozen ice has thawed completely out, and the lake has actually warmed up. So it's actually the warmest in October, really, because that's when everything has really fully thawed and heated up and has gotten hot. But yeah, that was really refreshing. Whew. I'm definitely gonna dip in a few more times. Last time I was here, there was more fish. There was like smaller fish in there. Actually, I'm gonna dip in one more time real quick before I come back. Whew, hey guys, so refreshing. So I found this pretty blue stone, nice blue. I found that there, so I'm gonna throw this on the Oshun grid. And another thing I just found right here, my trusty little Oshun grid, my rock. In this instance, I may, just because I'm bleeding, and since we're honoring Oya, I will touch it. Typically, I would not touch something dead like this because of me bleeding. Talking about the Iyami, I will. Typically, I would grab like a cloth or something. And like I said, I am on my menstrual. Sorry about that, guys. But I'm just going to go ahead and, sorry to be disgusting. I put my tampon on there too. Sorry about that. Let's cover that bad boy up. But I'm just going to throw the bee on there. And bees are sacred to Oshun because of honey. Honey is sacred to Oshun, which means the bee is sacred to Oshun. And the bee produces honey because the bee has a work ethic. The bee's work ethic produces the honey, the hive, the queen bee energy. A lot of, bees are sacred to Oshun. So we are going to throw that on there. And we're going to thank Oya for the death offering that we have after I just cleansed. So yeah, this is witchcraft, you guys. This is witchcraft. No animals or humans were harmed in the burning of this offering. This is witchcraft, not satanic witchcraft, where I'm asking Satan to do something for me because I'm not happy with what God gave me. This is blood-borne witchcraft. You see blood. You see, we've talked about the blood. We talked about water, the water in your blood. We talked about burning things. So this is what I want to continue to demonstrate and talk about and really unite other witches, black witches, but all witches in sacred, unite all races of women in sacred femininity, that you can accept Christ as your Lord and Savior and still be a witch, and not feel like claiming being a witch, talking about witch and being witchcraft is going to get you to hell, feeling like you have to deny witchcraft to accept Christ. I have a huge responsibility, but you will know a tree by its fruit. And as we can see, it's smoking now. But see, I'm staying here because I'm letting the smoke blow on me so I can get that blessing. But as you can see how smoky it gets. And this is what you call a smoke bath. And technically, I could stand over this. I'm just going to stand close to it. And you can do this with your cauldrons at home. When you burn incense or do ouds, or you burn frankincense and myrrh and different things, you can stand over it if you can. or just, stand above it and give yourself a smoke bath. And I set the fireplace up intentionally to make sure that the smoke would blow in my direction. As you can see, this is the 2 stones that I found to plug in that section in the beginning of this upload of this live feed. So I'm getting the smoke offerings, the smoke, and that you don't do too much smoke inhalation. You can start to feel dizzy and stuff. But again, like I said, on Alone, and on the History Channel, when they're surviving the wilderness by themselves, you'll learn a lot of you need to learn how to work with fire, make fireplaces. I love that show Alone because it is the foundations of witchcraft. And the foundations of witchcraft is indigenous living, which is recycling, which is where the principles of witchcraft come from, the principles of recycling, indigenous living, herbal medicine, things like that. Oh, we got a visitor. First bird I've seen all day. Usually there's like a family of crows. Usually there's a family of crows. But now it's just him. And I think I've seen him before. I think I see him. Oh, there's other birds coming. I didn't even put the food out and they're all coming now. Birds, again, sacred to the mothers. So yeah, the birds are coming. But the principle of witchcraft can be indigenous culture, or what in modern times we may call off-grid survival living. And there are communities like that, and I love that, because that's what real revolution is about. It's real revolution, and I would dare say the definition of revolution is complete independence from the government. That's what real revolution is, complete independence from the government. Another aspect of revolution is going to come with fighting for your rights when the government takes them away. That is your right to live as an indigenous Native American, or as an indigenous person to whatever land you're on. It ignited again on its own. I like when it ignites. Remember, where there's smoke, there's fire. You see that? It was smoking and then it reignited into fire. That's because wherever there's smoke, there is fire. That's awesome. Indigenous living is, I'm gonna step away now because I got my smoke bath and now I need some water. That's what revolution is about. So when you deal with witchcraft and you deal with indigenous living, you are less dependent on the government. You know how to hunt, grow food, build your cabins, how to live in the wilderness the way we were designed to. Wilderness living is the foundation and principles of witchcraft. And when you get into the wilderness, you will have more experiences that feel supernatural, because you are, oh, I just lost this. I want to put this on the ocean altar here. I'll just put it right on top of my family, next to my family heirlooms for now. When you are doing wilderness survival, when you're in the wilderness, you'll experience spirituality, because you will start to feel the spirit in things that are considered an inanimate object. It means not animated, meaning not a area here, and I'm gonna take you guys for a little walk if that's okay. So a rock or a tree, flowers, and the vegetation, water can be animate because it could be moving. Water is moving, but some may not consider it alive, even though it is the most living thing. It's the source of life, essentially. God is, but we understand water is alive. Our blood is alive. That's why blood is so important and DNA is so important. DNA is considered inanimate. A hangnail that you bite off, your toenails that you clip off, your hair that you cut off, your blood that you shed, um, dead skin cells, all these things are considered inanimate objects. I just found another dead being. I just found another, there's a butterfly under this. I'm gonna grab that, and if I can, I don't know, the rock won't move, so that's probably meant to be there. This is not budging. This rock isn't budging, so I'm definitely not gonna force that. This rock will not budge. I can't get it at all, so I'm not gonna force that. But there's another butterfly. Next time I see a lot of butterflies, dead butterflies around here. But when you are in the wilderness, you will start to feel the life force of things considered inanimate. And that's when you can live a more spiritual life. That's why indigenous culture, they talk about the spider woman and spider medicine and spiders being sacred. Well, these things come from the indigenous people of these lands, how they interacted with these things. And if they had these positive interactions or negative interactions. A scorpion has lethal venom. So most indigenous cultures may not have a positive interaction with a scorpion. Whereas a spider, they build webs, they catch flies, they have positive interactions with that. They create dream catchers to mimic what the spider does. They create dream catchers to mimic what the spider does physically. They create a dream catcher to mimic that in the spirit realm. This is why I'm saying witchcraft comes from indigenous culture, because they were having these experiences and they translated into things unseen. They looked at life and said, this is how we understand things that we also cannot see or cannot explain, but we feel it happening. Rocks, trees, vegetation, water, your DNA that's left your body, blood that you shed, hair that's fallen off or that's been cut, nails and stuff, all that DNA is still alive. That's why when forensics do a crime scene, they're looking for DNA. They're looking for fingernails and teeth and any type of blood, skin cells, hair particles that they can match to someone else's DNA that's in their database. Witchcraft, I know, is the foundation of all science. Witchcraft is the foundation of all science, and alchemy. Witchcraft is chemistry. It's alchemy. Forensic science is they're doing alchemy to catch a killer, or so to speak, a criminal. So DNA is so important, and indigenous culture is so important because they calibrated their DNA to Mother Nature. Our DNA, especially if you're in a major city, your DNA is calibrated to the Wi-Fi connection, and you know it, you can feel it, but no one knows it more than a witch who has a spiritual lifestyle and is sensitive to these things. My little witch's code. So I take you guys for, actually I should get my food and start dispersing my food offerings. I should disperse them around. I usually don't come too often over to this side. I usually stay by my own Oshun grid. But occasionally I'll go up here in the thicket too. But I like to respect the space of the other people who come here. My sacred space in the Witch's Cove is the Oshun grid. But there's a nice little area right there. I like to sit on that rock, and that's my little mermaid rock there. And I just want to be just above the water. This rock right there, that one, this one here, this rock, that yellow one. I just want to be above the water and enjoy the waves. I'll sit right up over there. Just want to take you guys for a little walk. Yeah, there's 2 birds now, 2 seagulls. I don't know if you can see them. Now it's 2. And then there were 2. So a lot of people's DNA is now kind of calibrated to the Wi-Fi connection, you know, to so when you're out in nature, your DNA gets calibrated and you become sensitive and aware to nature and the changes, and those are the traits that make you a better hunter, that heighten your intuition, that allow you to sense danger, or that allow you to be guided toward where there are the most resources or the most safety. You become sensitive to the energies of everything around you, and you just kind of almost automatically, intuitively know where to go for safety and where to avoid for danger. That's the beauty of being indigenous, and that's what I like to promote. As a witch, I like to promote indigenous lifestyle. As a Black revolutionary, I like to promote holistic health and wellness, you know, indigenous, even Eastern medicine. I like to promote homeopathic remedies. I haven't heard that word in years. Have you guys heard that word used, homeopathic? I haven't heard that word used in years. It's all everything. I think homeopathic got replaced with holistic. I promote homeopathic medicine. Yeah, I'm gonna put the food out, and so I can't believe it's been a couple hours. Yeah, I'm just enjoying things, just trying to get me a little tan for this little beach party I got next in a couple weeks. And yeah, about a week or so. I don't know if you guys can see it exactly, but I don't know if you guys can see it or not. My cousin gave me these panties. They say sexy. Like shorts. I don't know if you can see it though. I know, who sips on like one shot for 2 hours? But it's just some libations. It's the Sabbath, so I got some nuts, and I got some pistachio and raisins, and I even got some M&Ms too, some peanut M&Ms, just if I need some energy. But I am fasting today. It is the Sabbath. One last thing I don't want you ladies doing. Ladies, don't try to compete with men who have broken your heart by leaving you for another woman. If you got left for another woman, if you had a relationship with a guy and he left you for another woman, or you know, you guys was immediately with another woman, you know, signaling she was the reason for the breakup, please don't go get some rebound lover just to compete with the man who broke your heart. Don't try to compete with him by finding you. This is the danger of having sex with somebody, you know. And I didn't say whether commitment was involved or not. This is the danger of having sex with somebody. They have the free will to choose to go take your energy and run with it. There is no real obligation to a man to replenish your energy. That is, like I said, that's the nature of a man. And that's why you don't want to be a man. You don't want to have to hurt other people to feel better about yourself. Ladies, don't hurt yourself trying to feel better about yourself after a man made you feel like less than another woman. If a man leaves you for another woman, if a man makes you feel small, unworthy, less than another woman, inferior to another woman, do not go get some rebound romance just to feel better or just to compete with this man like, oh, I can get another guy too. Well, now I got someone too. Please sit in that heartache for however long it takes for you to not feel it anymore. I don't care how many years it may take. But I'll say this, if you sitting around more than 1 year heartbroken over some dude, snap the fuck out of it. I also don't want you sitting around more than a year crying and blah, 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 blah. If he done left you for another woman, went with some other woman, or in some cases a lesbian has left you for another woman, and you got a year to feel bad for yourself before you need to move on with your life, because that's part of the healing, is moving on. But also, within that year, don't jump into another relationship. Don't jump into having sex with someone. Cut that tie sexually with him, however long it takes. Having sex with another man that does not cut a tie, a sexual tie that you have with someone already. It starts a new one. Please understand, having sex with another man is not going to cut the sexual tie to other men. It's going to start a new one. However, having a marriage ritual with another man, that will cut the sexual tie, because the marriage is a ritual that sets that boundary. So the only thing that is going to really immediately cut the sexual tie that you have to a man who broke your heart would be the ritual of marriage. But having sex and dating some guy, hooking up with some guy, shacking up with some guy, making out with some guy, going on a date, having sex with another man just to try to get rid of the pain, or just to really try to compete with the guy who chose another option. Now you're trying to say, oh, I got another option too. That's going to hurt you more than sitting in that pain, healing from it, regaining love, or getting surrounded by family, friends, and people who love you, letting them know that you are going through a breakup. That's going to heal. Letting your loved ones know, hey, I just had a breakup, I'm going through this. That's going to recruit them to help you, instead of you sitting around trying to do it on your own and trying to recruit some perfect stranger by fucking him to help you heal from the heartbreak of loving someone who betrayed you, betrayed your trust, and essentially with their free will chose another woman instead of you. That's their free will to do. If you married him, you have a right to divorce. And if you were smart enough to marry a rich man, or had access to marry a rich man, that's your alimony right there. However, if you wasn't married and he chose another woman instead of you, don't recruit some other man to break your heart. Sit with that. You're not ready to swap DNA with another man after a man that you have been in love with and had plans with decided to be with some other woman. Now, and unfortunately, depending on how attached you was to that man, now you're going to be attached to that other woman that he's decided to take your energy and give to. So sit with your pain and sit with the time it takes to really cut ties energetically with that person, because you're not going to energetically cut the tie until you experience the pain that they put you through. The pain that you are going through is the reminder that that person does not like you. And when you don't sit through that pain and you keep interacting with the person and you keep playing around with them and you keep trying to get them back and you keep giving them a chance to play in your face so they can take more of your energy and give it to the younger chick that they left you for, all you're doing is feeding him. That's what I'm saying. You're already attached to that man. He's attached himself to someone else, so now you're attached to her. You got to cut him off so you don't let him take your energy and give it to her. You don't want to be attached to that other woman. Competing with that man, it's going to give you another bad attachment instead of cutting your energy off from the man who took it from you. You get what I'm trying to say? Don't sit in the pain so it reminds you that this person is not good for you. When you play games with the pain, you forget where it came from. You start to justify shit. When you sit with the pain and you say, this is what happened, I'm in pain, I'm backstabbed, I'm gonna sit with this knife in my back and I'm gonna slowly pull it out, not immediately so I bleed out and I'm dead. I'm gonna slowly pull it out in a way where I can preserve my life and preserve my back, and where I'm not completely injured from this backstabbing, but I'm gonna keep that pain, not the scar. I'm just gonna keep the pain so I remember where it came from. I'm gonna keep this knife that he stabbed me with so I remember where the pain came from, and now I have a weapon to defend myself with. Pain. Pain is your weapon that you defend yourself with. Next time around, somebody comes and tries. This is getting into the Erzuli Danto. Knives and backstabbing and pain and anger. Please don't just go hook up with some other dude, because there's a lot of men out here waiting for desperate women to have sex with them because they're at their most vulnerable point and they're getting free sex from nothing from him but some validation real quick because she's in pain. So don't go out here in the dating realm where men only want sex because the woman they were having it with because they can't have it with the woman they were having it with anymore. So now they're trying to date and have sex with someone else. You as a woman, you're not just looking for sex with someone else. You're looking for love. You're looking for being treated right by someone else. These men are not looking to treat you right. They're looking to have sex with you because who they were having sex with either didn't satisfy them or they no longer have access to that person. So now they're looking for sex with someone else. You as a woman, you're not looking for sex. You're looking to be treated right by someone else because this person didn't treat you right. Now, as a woman, if you're looking for some good sex, you can date, but the thing with women who are looking for some good sex, a lot of women go after men that look good, thinking that the sex is going to be good because he looks good. It may help, but if you're looking for good sex, the only real advice that I can give you, ladies and witches, is if you want good sex, go for a man who openly talks about eating you out. Go for a man who openly says he wants to lick your pussy. Go for a man who openly wants to put his face in between your legs. That's the precursor to having good sex. I'm not saying he's going to have the biggest dick. All right? I'm just saying if you want good sex if you want to find a man who enjoys satisfying the woman and gets off from giving the woman pleasure instead of gets off from getting his nut. A lot of men get off from getting their nut. Most men get off from giving the woman a nut. So ladies, you shouldn't be having this problem, but in the rare instance that you have a issue with having bad sex, white women I think have this problem more. I don't think this is something that I don't know that black people deal with this as much. Maybe I'm just being prejudiced. I don't know. Maybe I'm just going off of stereotypes. But you don't hear a lot of black women complaining about having bad sex. But if you have experienced this, you want to, and you're looking for good sexual pleasure, go for a black man, or go for go for a black guy, but Do they tend to be better at sex? Not necessarily better, but they tend to have they tend to have, at least at the very least, they have rhythm and a package, you know. But what I would suggest is more so go for the man who has no qualms about putting his face in between your legs. That is gonna be that's gonna be a man who gets off from your orgasm, not from his. These men who get off from their orgasm, that's why you're having bad sex. Another thing I will tell ladies, if you are dealing with a man who does not want to go down on you at all, that's not a religious thing, and that's not a traditional thing. Why? Because men who are religious will still masturbate, even though in the Catholic Church, not in the Christian one, in the Catholic one, they teach that that's wrong. Some Christian churches may, but a man who is religion, he'll use the Bible to say, well, I don't want to go down on, or even not the Bible, maybe he's just like one of these religions that doesn't like women to have sex, or have sexual pleasure, you know, these religion, you know, he'll use religion as to why he can't put his face down there, but he won't use religion as to why he can't get himself off with his hand. So ladies, if you are dealing with a man who either the sex is bad and you're not getting any pleasure from it and it feels awkwardly bad, or he will not go down on you, that is your sign to start looking out for homosexual activity in that man. And if he ever says anything about getting aroused by fighting with other men, if he gets aroused from getting into fights with other men, and I'm not going to speak for men because I'm not a warrior. And I think fighting and fucking for men are very similar. But ladies, if he does not go down on you, or if the sex is awkwardly bad, where it's seeming like he doesn't enjoy licking on you, that's when you need to start. That's a red flag that he is a homosexual. And that's when you need to start looking for other red flags of him as a homosexual. A man getting off from fighting and from violence, that may not be a red flag unless he also does not like to go down on you. He likes to be violent with other men. He likes to do all this other stuff with men, you know. But he also does not get off from licking your clit and making you writhe in pleasure down there and just going in. Like, that's a sign of homosexuality. Because a man, that's what gets him off. Doing that first. That's what gets a man off. Especially a man who is not afraid to challenge and compete and kill another man. He be out. That's what he gonna do till you tell him to stop. So, ladies, if you want sexual pleasure and you're not getting it, you must go for the guy who openly wants to lick your pussy. Otherwise, you might end up with another faggot out here. I don't know. That's all I got to say about the sexual pleasure, because, you know, everyone's different, and once you're married, you guys, that's up to y'all to figure it out. But lady, if he ain't sloppy, loppy, jalopy down there, that's your red flag. If the sex is bad and you talk about it and it doesn't get better after some weeks or months or after a few more times, it has not improved after you have communicated to your man and your lover that this is kind of what you like, this is what you need. You know, if you guys haven't been trying new things and it's working and it's getting better and it's making you guys closer, if working on the sex isn't making you guys come closer as a couple, please let that be your red flag that he's homosexual. Now, I'm not saying he's a bad husband. lavender marriage is a real thing, and gay men can make some of the best husbands because of how they'll treat you. But ladies, if sexual pleasure is a problem in your life and you have a partner who's not giving it to you, you need to start looking into his sexuality. You know? So, on that note, it is Saturday, and like I said, my friend's getting married today, so I'm going to enjoy the rest of my Witch's Cove and, you know, head back to my temple to honor my friend's marriage today. But and I'm gonna hang out with the seagulls a little bit more. I'm gonna throw some food out to them. I usually throw the food out over there, like in the greener area, but I'm gonna throw it down right here, some down here too, and around over here. There's geese too, so I'll leave the food, you know, on the beach a little bit too for them. But like when the geese come around, I'm careful about getting in the water too close to the geese, because the geese is a very territorial animal and they will attack you. Geese they can be vicious and they'll attack you and peck at your head, and that's not going to be fun. So I'm very careful. These geese know me, they're used to me, but I just kind of let them do their thing and I don't get too close. None of them have any babies with them, but I just kind of wait and let them get used to me before I go too close to them, so they don't think I'm like getting a little too close to them. Yeah, I like to check their temperament first. You don't want to get attacked by no geese, let alone a flock of geese. You don't want that. You don't want that smoke. I'm letting you know right now. See how he's looking and gotten up? See, that one's looking at me. He's probably the leader because they're looking up. They're looking up and they're alert. Yeah, so the geese are here, so I'm definitely going to be hanging out with them, you know. But I am going to go ahead and just throw a little bit of food over here. And one thing, you always want to, you know, recycle or pick up your garbage. Today, as you guys can see, there's no garbage on this beach, really. There wasn't like hardly any. I maybe saw one water bottle. Sometimes there's a lot of condoms, tampons. You know, I've seen a lot of stuff on this beach. You know, toys, dog items. Today is incredibly clean. A lot of the other witches and warlocks that come here, we actively pick up garbage from the beach. But please, when you're out in nature, bring an extra bag to dispose of your trash. Don't litter. I'm Native American and I don't take lightly to littering at all. And my friends know that. Please don't litter, you guys. You have trash, bring a bag with you when you're in nature so you can take your trash with you. Act like you're in Japan. Take your trash with you and throw it away in a proper trash receptacle. Don't leave it around like people in the inner cities do. Like people from Chicago and New York do. Don't leave your trash everywhere. As you see, the seagulls heading toward the food, but I'm just gonna show you guys. I'm gonna put it. I'm just gonna put the food over here now, and they can get it when they. Found a little star anise. That's going on the burnt offerings. star anise found over there. Finding a lot of things today, so I'm glad I get to show you guys how witchcraft works. You always get, you get bad nature gives you fun little things too. So star anise, looks like it got rice on it. So star anise with rice on it is someone was making horchata, or someone at chinga. Drop my phone there. Son of a sorry about that, guys. Yeah, it's giving I saw little rice kernels on there, so it's giving horchata. I'm wondering if someone maybe made some horchata or rice. But that's interesting because I just dumped like some Indian food, and then I got star anise, which is a huge it's a spice. Indians are great on spices. The animals in the water are so cute. Yeah, it is. It's really nice over here. It's very nature, and as you guys can see, I just put the star anise there on the burnt offerings right there. Let that smoke up. But as you can see, they haven't eaten the food yet, but all the geese went way over there now. They were they flew in, they came, and then now they're traveling over there. So that means they're giving me space. I know these geese, they come here a lot. They know me a lot. But you guys, do not let your guard down around geese. All right? Get to know them and stuff, because they will attack you, and it will not be cute or fun. So I'm just gonna let me get my bag and do this. Got lighter fluid on the bag, so I'm gonna dump that out. Put my garbage in here. Any questions, guys? Find a nature spot in your city or your township, wherever you live. Find if you one already, find a place where you can go, and that is exclusive. Find somewhere only you know. Somewhere only we know. There's a good song by Keen. The band is called Somewhere Only We Know. It's a good song. If we have a minute, why don't we go talk about it somewhere only we know? This could be the end of everything, so why don't we go somewhere only we know? Yeah, if I was still in this city, in Chicago, and something went down, and it was the end, this is where I would be. Because of all the things I've gone through living in Chicago, especially living on the south side, in the hood, since I've, moved from the suburbs where I grew up, it says a senorita. It says senorita. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. I don't know if I can scroll in that much. It's senorita. Believe it or not, I think, yeah, those are the THC seltzers that I just promoted on my Instagram about a week ago. I tried those THC seltzers THC seltzers. This about a week ago. It says Senorita. This plane flying by. Where is it? Yeah, those are THC seltzers. But like I was saying, this is the spot where I've had the most intimacy. Unfortunately, with myself, I have not shared this place with a lot of people, but I shared it with people, and they definitely, the people special to me, and the people special to me who really feel mutually about me, the people who care about getting to know me, not people who just say they like me, but they don't make time to show me that they want my company. People who understand how special knowing me is, because these are the things that I can give you in your life. I can give them healing, and this is where I would be if things went down. This is my special place where only I know, and the other people who come here. So yeah, like that song says, this may be the end of everything, so why don't we go somewhere only we know. So this is intimacy. It would be wonderful if I had someone here, a man here, who loved me enough to take time out of his life to share this with me, but I don't. None of the men love me enough to where they're here with me right now, because that's where they want to be. They're somewhere else because that's where they want to be right now. And this is where I want to be. So this is where I'm at, by myself. And I don't feel alone. Everything out here with me that may seem inanimate, I feel its spirit here with me. And the animals and the insects and things that we know are alive with a soul in it are here with me. And importantly, you guys are here with me. No one else is. Don't get me wrong. There's people I could call who, if I had invited them to be here with me, they probably would have dropped what they're doing to be here with me. Or they probably don't have anything better to do but to be here with me. But I didn't call those people. And you know, maybe I should, but it's not easy to get here. You have to be athletic. You have to be able to climb. You have to be able to jump rocks. And I don't got time for people who are not athletic and who do not spend time in nature, where they can deal with rocks and trees and climbing over and jumping over and dealing with obstacle courses. I don't like no motherfucker can't deal with no obstacle course. I don't like to have to hold no motherfucker's hand through nature and shit. You feel me? So I don't invite motherfuckers who don't want to deal with no obstacle course. Excuse me for cursing. I don't like to invite people who can't deal with no obstacle course in nature to receive a oasis. All right. So a lot of people like. So, my point is, I'm here by myself, but I don't feel alone. And you could be at work in a room full of people and feel alone because you can't relate to those people. They don't make you feel the way I feel here. And this is how a witch should feel, that she is in her element. And when you're in your element, you're not alone. But you can be around people, you can be next to people, don't even like you like that. And when you are next to someone feeling alone, know that that person does not like you. Not like that. They like having sex with you, you know, probably. They may like something about you that makes their life better. But they don't like you if you feel alone next to them instead of intimacy and a connection and you feel connected. If you feel disconnected from some people while you're with them, it's because they don't like you. When someone likes you, they make you feel like you belong with them. If people genuinely like you, you will feel it because you will belong with them. If you have to fight with people to get them to spend time with you, I'm not talking about your friends that are busy and your schedules don't align because y'all got to make money and be responsible in life. I'm talking about people who pick and choose when it's convenient who only are around you when it's convenient or beneficial to them. that person does not like you. And you will always feel alone when you are around a person who does not like you, but they like the convenience and the benefit that they get from having cut them off. And if it was a warlock, the moment you cut them off, within 3 weeks, your blessings are going to return to you. They didn't go anywhere. They just hovered around until you got this fool out the way. Now they can come back down and bless you. But they want to bless this fool that was trying to take your blessing. So they just hovered around waiting for you to get some wisdom. That's how you know you was dealing with a warlock. The moment you cut them off, all your blessings come right back to you. Immediately. You get a raise, your car gets fixed, your pet gets better. You know, your friend invites you to a great event. You know, someone asks you on a date. Who whatever. It all things start coming together. But as long as that dude is around, your blessings are gonna hover over, you know, until you wise up. And if you never wise up, they're just gonna move on to someone else who has wisdom and doesn't have some fool in their vicinity waiting for a blessing that they don't deserve and haven't earned and are not worthy of. You know, and that's how you'll know. If you're with someone you're not evenly yoked with, things will go bad for you. Things will start to go bad in your life as a result of interacting with someone who does not belong in it. Notice how if things start to go bad, tell God to reveal to you who in your life is your enemy. Alright, I'm gonna get off the phone soon. I'm just gonna got a little while longer. Let's see. I got some juice. Yeah, it's really nice out today. This is one of my dad's old business cards. This is one of my father's old business cards. I kept a whole, I have a whole box full of them. 20, did you guys know that about my dad? That he was a paralegal? That you didn't know my dad was a paralegal? Now you do. Nice sweet smell to the heavens. These fun little cakes too. I'm just gonna leave these cakes around. See if an animal picks them up. Bird maybe. These fun little Mexican cakes. Stayed on here 3 hours, so I'm gonna call it quits before My phone battery gets too low. I hate to leave you guys. I've been having fun with you, but I guess I'm just gonna have to come back. I will probably be coming back next weekend. I will probably be coming back next weekend. Go in the water one more time with you guys. Share the water with you guys one more. Share the water with y'all. These little slaty rocks. These are thin. Grab those guys. I'm gonna dunk my head in the water before I leave. But it's not super hot. The sun, it's sunny, but it's not as hot. Like last time it was like 100 something degrees. But today there's such a nice breeze that the sun is so bearable. So, so refreshing. You guys, every time you baptize yourself in the water, you either get younger or you fix yourself in the age that you're in. Meaning you stop the aging process. Every time you baptize yourself, you reverse the aging process. You renew yourself. And that's what that's a secret to looking young, is taking Oshun baths. Taking Oshun baths is a secret to eternal youth. It replenishes your youth and your beauty. So, let nature wash your hair. Let nature get in your hair and your DNA. Because getting in real lake water, not chlorine water, not the soapy water, it's great doing Oshun baths that include like the perfumes, the roses, the fun stuff, the ritual stuff. But just getting in that river and letting the DNA in that river calibrate you to nature, it's going to keep you looking young. It's going to tighten your skin. Yeah. And it's going to make your hair grow long and thick. That's the spirit of the river. That's what she does for you. Eternal youth and beauty. She'll make Oshun to make your boobs get bigger too. If you ask her, I did an upload and people didn't believe me. I've accessed Oshun Ogbudagba. There's an Oshun Ogbudagba. It's like an Indian type of Oshun. She was in a cave with a bunch of women, and she had enormous breasts, and she was able to feed all the children, and she was actually able to feed the people, other the adults, because she was giving milk. They got trapped in a cave. I think a giant closed the door on them or something. It's old. I got access to the story. There's an Oshun that's the one that will enlarge your breast. She's like a Indian Kush, the Kushites was kind of like Indian, but before all the lands got separated, so she's, technically Indians are Asians now, but she's like a Indian, Indian form of Oshun. There's Mama Chola Mama Chola is a Central American or even South, Mama Chola is like a Central American, a Native American Oshun. I don't want to directly say Aztec, but Mama Chola is a Native American form of Oshun. There's Mama Chola, and that's Maria, the Maria energy. The one that Santana be singing about. That's the Oshun. The Maria that Santana be singing about, that's Oshun. That's Mama Chola Oshun. That Santana guitar singer, he got a song Maria Maria, and he's singing about Mama Chola. Now Oshun Badagba, she'll make your boobs big for you. If they're not already, she'll make them grow. So I don't want to leave you guys, but the time has come. So I'm gonna leave it there, and I will catch you in the next upload. Listen, learn, like, subscribe, follow me on IG for more witchy woman content, and have your questions ready for the next live complimentary oracle consultation. Love you guys. We're celebrating the love of my friend who is getting married today. Peace and love.